Hey Noville fans, how we doing today? Another Q&A session for you for Q&A Wednesday. One of the key questions I think that most people are kind of curious about was, I guess, my transition into living in the States. So from my previous videos from last week about my language and how I learned to speak English, but I guess now the curiosity is, how was the transition going from living in Korea, now living into the United States? I can tell you that I don't really remember much of the transition. So my memory at that young age, I don't remember much of it, but I will tell you the stories that I've been told from my parents, family members, and just a few other things that I do remember, you know, from the transitional phase of the first years, I guess I can say, from living in the States. So as I've mentioned previously, that there was a lot of adjustments from the time. There was a period of adjustment, one, of course, having to learn the language, and there was a period of also trying to acclimatize myself to my new surroundings. I mean, again, came from a orphanage and then now trying to be in a place where I was kind of in a sibling relationship with my sister, to then being the only child once she got married and left the house. And I guess that transition in itself can be a video for another time, but the transitional phase, from what I've been told, was just a period of adjustment, of knowing that, one, the situation that I was in, and this is going to be a different story for different people. So again, this is my story, my situation. I don't know exactly what the conditions of the orphanage was when I left. Now, don't be saying that the place was run down and we wasn't being taken care of. That's not the extent of how the orphanage was. I've met with Jane White, who ran it when I was stationed there, like I said, in Korea, and how it was done back then was what she had to work with. So don't be saying that we weren't taken care of and we wasn't being fed properly and this and that. So I'm sure that she did the best that she could by what she had. And that's the same for any other orphanage. I mean, she was a missionary there, and I don't know how things are funded there. I don't know if the country gave her funding or if everything was based off of her home church. She was from Wisconsin. I don't know how that all worked out, but the kids were taken care of. Maybe they didn't have as much as what most kids would have, but we were taken care of. So the stories that I do tell, don't say that we weren't taken care of at the orphanage, all right? This is just what happened, and this was my own personal experience. But from what mom and dad have told me and family members and stuff, the adjustment period, for one, for me was, let's talk about food, all right? So I would say for me, for food, from what they say, was I was big into hiding food. They would find food hidden in my rooms. They would give me food. Maybe I would eat a little bit of it, and I would stick the rest in my pocket. So there were stories of where I think we were at Nanny and Pawpaw's house, which is my mom's parents' house. I don't know if it was Thanksgiving or whatever it was. I don't know. We're there for dinner or something, and they gave me a piece of ham, and I think I just took it and just stuck it in my pocket. So I was wanting to save it for later. And that's probably the survival instincts of an orphan. So what does an orphan do? Well, you save what you got for later. You don't just eat it on the spot, really. You just want to, you know, just save it for later. You might want to make a sandwich later. I don't know. But my instincts at that time was to stick it in my pocket. Maybe I want to save it for later, not want to eat at that particular time. But that's what I did mostly as a young kid during that first year or so, was I seemed to harbor a lot of food. So during times of dinner, I might have ate a little bit of dinner, but whatever was left, I might have taken it and I might have stuck it in a drawer, I might have stuck it in the closet. I just seemed to be like a squirrel and making plans for the winter. I just stuck food in different places where I could be able to find food, you know, or hide it somewhere so I could be able to have it for later on. And so that's the survival instincts of a kid who doesn't get much of something. You'll want to hide it and save it for later. That's just how my mind probably was then as a kid, and that is just the way the orphan mind works, is that you always want to save something for later. You have a little bit now, have something for later, and I kind of do that now for the most part. It's still ingrained in me. I might eat a candy bar and eat half of it, save the other half for later, or do something like that. I don't know why it's still like that, but I do. I think that's just still part of what I do. And other times I don't. I can tell you that I'm part of the Clean Plate Club. Pretty much almost 99.9%, but I rarely ever take leftovers home. I'm not big on leftovers, taking them home with me. I'm not big into wasting food, and that's probably another thing about my orphan mind, is I don't like wasting stuff at all. I'll eat it till it's completely gone. So if you're like that, then you understand how my mind thinks. And that's kind of how it was for the first year in that transitionary period. I was a hoarder of food, making sure I had plenty to eat. And until I knew that I had plenty to eat, I stopped hiding food. Once I knew that there was a dinner time every single day and a breakfast time every single day, I stopped hiding food. And that's kind of how it was during holidays. I think the first Christmas for my mom and dad's story was that the first Christmas I had no idea or concept of Christmas, or how Christmas and presents and all that worked out. They said that I woke up the first Christmas and they were having to force me to open the presents. The presents sat there for quite a spell. I didn't understand the concept of what Christmas was about when it come to opening gifts. They were having to hand them to me, and I would open it, and I mean, that was it for the first one. But then after that first one, they said that I'd come down and tear every single thing that was under the Christmas tree open, and would be expected more. So they kind of spoiled me on that. So again, that was the concept of my mind of not having nothing, to then there being an abundance of, and that was just how my mind was. And I'm still to the day, I'm really not a materialistic person with stuff. If there's things that I need, I'll go get it. But I just don't have a need of things, or a want of things, or stuff that I just don't. If I don't have a need for it, I just don't get it. So unless I need it, I get it. If I don't have a need for it, I'm not going to waste my time or my money on it. I just don't see my time blowing money, unless I can tell you the only thing I blow my money on is probably food. So I am a foodie. I think my whole family are a bunch of foodies. We'll go blow money on food and trying the things that we enjoy. So that is probably the big thing that we do blow our money on, is food. And we've trained our kids to try everything. I mean, we eat everything. We're not really a bunch of picky eaters, except for maybe a few things here and there. But besides the whole fact of cream cheese and code cheese and Japanese natto, those are probably the few things that I don't eat. Everything else we pretty much eat. Strange things that most other people don't even know about that we eat. We just try it all and seem to enjoy it. But yeah, that was pretty much my first few transitionary periods of the States, was just knowing, one, that there was an abundance of things. I didn't have to worry about food, had to stop hiding food, concepts of what Christmas was about and gifts and things of that nature. Yeah, that was it for me. It wasn't that big of a transitionary period, or that hard, I guess, after that first year, and knowing that I was going to be taken care of. Yeah, so if you're a CAD and you had the same experience as I did whenever you got adopted into the States, going through the same, I guess, I wouldn't say motions or the same things, I guess, during your transitionary time, hiding food, maybe having adjustment issues of not knowing that you had enough, or quite knowing kind of how you would have fit in, I guess, so to speak. Yeah, drop me a comment down below and let me know. Maybe we can get enough of us to band together, discuss these things. I figure that we all suffer from the same symptoms, I guess. I mean, we all pretty much would have went through the same deal. I don't know if this is considered to be vlog group therapy of any kind, but you never know. We could be able to help each other out in some form or fashion. I myself have not had the opportunity to really connect with other Korean adoptees and discuss matters. I know other people have connected. I mean, let's all get together and help each other out with them. That's what we're here for. Why not? If this experience that I'm going through is able to help connect some of us together, let's do that. You're never too old to get together and go through these things and maybe help each other out eventually. Maybe us older people can help out the younger people who are having issues during their time. I mean, I can tell you that maybe as a teen, or maybe somebody, you know, in my 20s, if I'd have had somebody in my 40s or 50s or in their 40s or 50s to come give me some words of wisdom and stuff, that might have helped me out. Not necessarily fix issues, but it helped give me insight on a lot of things, and I could have had a lot more of a healing process and things. So let's do that. Let's try to band together. If you're a CAD, a Korean adoptee, drop me a comment. Let's connect, and let's try to help out the younger generation who are having issues and struggles. So if you're on board of doing that and helping them out, hit me up. Let's work as a team and do it. So thanks for joining me on this question and answer session, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.